these quarters, I have done a huge amount of work. They've been on and off several times to be able to locate the wheelhouse. I had to locate the outer lip of the quarter panel and then fabricate an inner fender and put a lip in here that I can weld to and have it all strike at the exact spot. So I've got a 10 millimeter clearance now right between this wheelhouse and the wheel, and it'll go all the way down till the wheel touches in here. So good travel on it. And then I've got this a support welded in it, so this inner fender is locked right here. So now I can go in here and when I set this quarter and kind of massage it around it to the best looking outline here, and then weld that in place. But I want to give you a look at how well I've got all this done. Everything here has been ground and dollied and seam sealed with a two-part epoxy sealer. It was pre-cleaned and pickled, and then it's got a two-coat epoxy primer on every bit of this. And all the inside of the quarter panels have weld through. They've been ground and weld through prime and Dynomat and pre-cleaned and the works. But I just want to show you all that and have that on video of how solid of a build this is. So here's our quarter, our right quarter. So you can see I've got my Dynomat in there all spaced out where it'll stop that sound, isolate that sound, and not be too heavy. It's still heavy, but I try to limit it as much as possible. All my welds are ready. Anywhere they'll be welded, it'll be a weld through primer right there. My other one is the same way, where it's going to be weld through primer. Then inside, been pre-cleaned and dynomatted, and then inside here, all this has been sealed and etched and pre-cleaned and a two-part epoxy, and that all looks good. That wheelhouse is done. Inside that wheelhouse, it's been done the same way. It's all been dollied up tight, seam seal inside of it. The factory liners will go right back in it from the Hellcat. All that's in epoxy. Everywhere that's blue is getting pre-cleaned, sanded, epoxy, two-coat epoxy primer. So that's turned out real well. I don't know if you can see up under here how good all that did, but I mean it looks factory under there. And like I say, the factory wheel liner from the Hellcat will go right back in it. Where this quarter support goes in here, I welded in a 16 gauge plate all the way down, treating that inside and out and sealing it. So I'll have a good spot to weld to right there. And then inside here, all that's done the same. So I'm fixing to start prepping this the same way I did. This will all get sanded, weld through primer everywhere. Got my marks here. I'll put some more holes in there, prep that. Both back windows, went ahead and checked all four windows, make sure they all go up individually, make sure they all go up together, make sure I can go up with that one on. I mean, it strikes perfectly every time, and so does the other side. So I went through all the bolts, made sure all the nuts and bolts are tight, all the little pivots are lubed. I went up and down, made sure the stop is good to the bottom. I've cleaned the plug for the motor with a dielectric cleaner, and then with a contact cleaner, and then put dielectric grease in the plug, and then run the routing and tape the wires, and I think it's all good. So all right, you can see all the window mechanism in there, and all that is nice, clean, lubed, treated. I've had to do a lot more work on these inner panels, getting those fit. Had to move this over just a little bit to let that come over, but you can see how that window's striking every time, just as nice as it can be. And now I'll fit the quarter to that. This is my back bracket. It's been primed with a weld through primer, and once I set the quarter, I'll set this height so that this seal runs right down through there like it's supposed to. All this has been treated. Inside the wheelhouse is treated. See my supports, I'm ready. Those will strike my quarters right in place. They're all set right where they need to be. Same on this side. Window's just going up and down nicely, fit perfectly in there. And my quarters over here. Oh, you got this little car here. This thing's bad, boy. Look at this. A blown LS. 500 plus horsepower. It is extremely fast. 6-speed transmission. Alright, I finally got the quarters set in place, and I've lowered it in the back just a little bit on the back of the quarters in relationship to the front of the quarters, and it gave me enough material in the sides here to wrap them right around those 12-inch tires. I've got about 10 millimeters on both sides of the tires. With that independent suspension, the way it goes up, it just goes right in there. Kind of looks like a window closing. It fits in there so good. So I put all the suspension back in it, and I've had it outside first time ever, and it's setting good. And now I'm working on this back, and I wanted to show you what I'm doing in the back. I'm connecting the Hellcat floor to the Charger floor, and here at the back of it, I'm going to simulate a gas tank look. I don't know if you can tell in that in the video there, but right here, this piece I made looks like the back of the gas tank of the 70 Charger. Because you were able to see the back of the wheelhouse for the Hellcat, and it didn't look real good. So and then have the tips come straight out like this instead of using the Hellcat tips. Handle bent 3" all the way to the header on both sides, and that's going to look outstanding. And then from the back, it's going to look pretty correct. But behind all that, it'd be the Hellcat. Want me to tell them? This piece here, I've got made. It's also going to be a trunk, so I put the corrugation in it and all, and it looks like a full gas tank from the back, and sits in there. And then it'll also be a trunk, and then support, because I'll have gussets in the side. This will support this back piece. It's going to do a lot of stuff for us once it's all said and done, and it'll be really, really handy for the trunk part, keeping your supplies and cleaning stuff and wiping cloths. And then the ends, this is going to be the ends of it. It's going to make it look like a gas tank. So I've hand formed these, and this took a minute to get these two done. It's going to look like. You can see how those pipes look so period correct. And once TJ said that, and I've pictured it in my mind, I thought that's perfect. Now I'll just have to do a little step up manual bit and cut that and have those come out there. But now you can see how this is kind of looking like a gas tank. And then right in front of this is the Hellcat, so you'll never be able to see it because of the way that looks. And it's also going to give me my supports to tie into right here, these on each side, and that'll hold my back panel, and that'll allow me to adjust my bumper mount a little bit. And then inside here, you can see how much trunk space we're going to have. And then the little end caps I got, I'm fixing to cut this out and put those in place. And that'll be real handy. And then here's where he has the speakers and amps and all that came factory in the Hellcat. And then I'll make this deal here long where you can raise it up and get into here, or raise it on over and into there. But so far, quarters and all that is really worked out nice. You can see my body gaps pretty good. All right, now that I've got the quarters welded on over the wheelhouses, that's pretty much got that locked in. I can do a little bit of movement up and down and kind of tighten them up a little bit. But right now they're both identical, exactly like 10 millimeters, maybe a little more than that, to the tire on both sides, right on the money. So now I'm going to take the back of the car, and I've got to finish out the frame to hold the back support. So there's a lip across here that holds all the weight of the back of this car as far as the sheet metal and stuff goes. And the end of the Hellcat stops, so I'm gonna add and fabricate in the rear frame gussets, I guess, or frame extensions, and give you a quick look at how this is coming along. It's really nice. And then once I get these in, I've got the car on the lift to where it's kind of holding down, and my door gaps are just maybe 6 millimeters right now. And then I'll lock all this down, and then when the weight goes back on the car, it should be right at 5 millimeters door gaps with post tension in it both ways, through the body and then through the frame. So it'll be a good strong repair. And this will be strong enough where I can move this around. And once I get this floor and frame set, then I can move all this around and lock it in and just work my way back up. So right here is I'm putting caps on the end of the frame rails, and I've coated and treated inside there. And then these will be my upper brackets for my frame extensions, which are this is my frame extension I fabricated. I fabricated up 2 of them. It's actually the driver's side, and then in there, and then with that up in there, you see how good that's going to look and how that's going to really support that once that gets installed in place. Back window set, I had raised and flush fit the back window due to the back seats. The back seats were so tall they were touching the back glass, so raising the back glass give me just enough clearance to be able to utilize the original factory seats. I'm trying to use every piece factory without modification. That way if we need any parts or anything, any service or anything on this car later on, you can go straight to the dealer or salvage yard and get every component of this thing. If we have an issue with the computer or whatever, go straight to the dealer, get it scanned. The Hellcat does not know it looks like a Charger, so it will scan and work just like it did for the dealer as if it was still the Hellcat. And in raising this, I'm flush fitting this glass, and to do so, I've had to move these cell panels in, raise the deck lid just a little bit, change the shape of the end of the deck lid there just a little bit, and it turned out to be a really good look. It gave it a little wider, fatter stance. Once I connected the back of the car up to the front of the car and started getting it welded in solid, I've still got to do my rocker panels in the back. This strength and all this pushing forward was moving my front post just about a ½ millimeter, maybe 1 millimeter, somewhere in there. Not a lot, but it showed up in my door pockets. So I want to show you what I'm doing to remedy that and give you a good walk around on where it's at right now. Now I've got it raised up a little bit because I've got a little post tension in it. As I do all that, I want that post tension in it so that when I release it, it will help hold a little bit. I've got my quarter panels widened and all this finished out, and it's about a 10 millimeter gap right to my tires right there. So widening the quarter gives it a lot beefier look. I've had to lower it back here about 5 millimeters. As this back came down, those come out, and that's how I did that. This back, these cell panels, I pulled these in to that window, so that whole landing is pulled into that window to a 5 millimeter gap all the way around. That's a really, really good look. Looks a lot better. Got all my trunk in and my support in. I don't know if you can see all that. I've put lighting in there for my trunk. It's already in and wired. Dyno mat inside there. My trunk hinges in place. My gas fill. I've had to build a holder for the overflow. So if you overfill the gas, it'll go into this and then drain right down under the car here, and then that's the fill to my tank. I had to get to there because the tank's under the back seat, and that was quite an adventure. I've got my trunk in slash fake gas tank. So to hide the back of the Hellcat, when you look at the back of the car, you'd see this wheelhouse of the Hellcat. So I made this right here. It's a little storage spot that from the back looks like a gas tank. And it hides that look of that Hellcat where you see that old wellhouse. I've taken my tips off and I've made me some 3-inch tips for the back of it. Give it a more original look. I'm trying to keep it all as much 70 Charger on the outside and then Hellcat on the inside. Then got to still work on these back panels. Got most of that seat surround done. I'm working on that up there. I'll show you. Let me walk around the other side and show you how that's looking. But it's really what I'm doing here is building a support system that houses the window all the way around a structure. The Hellcat had a big structure all the way around it, and that's what I'm trying to recreate here. And then up front, I've still got to fit and do all this front and get the wheels where they'll turn without clearing those fenders. But let me show you how this is looking. You see how all this has come together. That looks factory into my doors. That's the Hellcat piece. I just welded it right into that door with the handle. All the electronics will be right back in there where the key fob unlocks the door. The computer will sense a car running 20-mile-an-hour, lock the doors, or whatever that was set at. Now inside here, this is what I've done up inside here. I built this structure, so this is going to be where my hand pull is. I got a hand pull handle right there, and then this support, this whole post right here now is pushing right into here, and I've got an extra gusset here. Then this post all the way down through here is 3/16 thick. It's all welded solid, so a pretty strong structure in there. Then I'm tying it on down, so I'm kind of piecemealing 3/16 plate all in here to reinforce this structure area. And it looks looks like it's going to work out pretty good. I'm fixing to do this other side and then set it back on its own weight and see how it goes. So this piece right here right in the middle is tied in to the main structure that I had from the Hellcat and the conversion up front in this cow area I did. Because up front here, shut this door, all the way down the side I've got that 3/8 angle in there that is extremely strong, tied into a piece that goes over the wheel houses that's tied into all of that all the way up. And in the front I've got all this tied in to the cow area, and now I have that tied into that. So this whole thing here is getting tied together. So fixing to get in there and finish that up. But just want to do a quick update on it all. It's really looking good and looking beefy from the rear. I've got 12-inch wide tires under this thing, and they will fit right under this wheelhouse.